Tonight, just 18 days to go. Is Barack Obama sprinting to victory, or can John McCain still pull out an upset? It will all be decided on the final battleground.
I'm Katie Couric in North Carolina, one of several states that's very much in play.
Will some key Republican strongholds change from red to blue? Also tonight, a 6-year-old is kidnapped in Las Vegas, and police suspect it's the work of drug cartels up from Mexico. And the last survivor of the Titanic, whose fortunes are sinking once again.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric reporting tonight from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Good evening, everyone. We are in rainy and windy North Carolina tonight as we begin a tour of battleground states that will decide the presidential election. States that over the next 18 days could still swing to either Barack Obama or John McCain. Here in the South, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida are up for grabs with a total of 55 electoral votes. Senator Obama campaigned in the Old Dominion today. He'll be here in North Carolina over the weekend. Senator McCain, meanwhile, campaigned in Miami and Melbourne, Florida. And tomorrow he'll be traveling here to the Tar Heel State and Virginia. John McCain is trailing in the national polls and desperately needs these battleground states. Chip Reed is with the Republican nominee in Florida. Chip?
Well, Katie, it's certainly not good news for John McCain that he's spending so much time campaigning in states like Virginia and North Carolina and here in Florida. But Barack Obama is giving him no choice.
We will win the state of Florida.
John McCain added a new line to his speech today, custom tailored for a Miami Republican audience.
The day is coming when Cuba will be free.
And that's not the only Republican special on the McCain menu.
I have a plan to hold the line on taxes.
He's focusing relentlessly on tax cuts, good for firing up the Republican base in states like Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida that were only recently thought to be safely in the McCain camp. He's being forced to campaign in these states.
What a great crowd here in Roanoke.
By Barack Obama, who drew a crowd of more than 8,000 in this conservative corner of Virginia today. He's threatening to turn Virginia and about half a dozen other red states blue. And he's doing it in large part by tying McCain to President Bush, who won all these states handily just 4 years ago.
Senator McCain still has not offered a single thing that he would do differently from George W. Bush when it comes to the most important economic issues that we face today.
Obama will be heading your way this weekend, Katie, and John McCain will be up there in North Carolina tomorrow. And don't be surprised to see both of them back here in the battleground state of Florida soon. Katie?
Chip Reed. Chip, thanks so much. Florida, key to President Bush's victory back in 2000, is critically important to John McCain this year, as you just heard. The latest polling shows he's trailing by 5 points right now. But Kelly Kobiea tells us voters in a very diverse area known as the I-4 corridor will ultimately decide whether the Florida sun shines on Senator Obama or Senator McCain.
Lifelong Republican Jim Picillo always thought he'd vote for John McCain. But as the Florida housing market crashed, so did the mortgage company he worked for. 2 months ago, he lost his job.
And then I watched the Republican National Convention, and it really hit a nerve.
He worked as a community organizer.
I was unemployed, and watching the entire Republican delegation basically sit up and laugh at someone who helps the unemployed really affected me.
So much so that he's voting for Barack Obama. Former Tampa Mayor Dick Greco is switching sides, too. He's a Democrat who thinks John McCain has the experience to fix the economy.
He's one hell of a man, there's no question. He sold me, and what he's saying makes sense to me.
Both campaigns are trying to use the poor state of Florida's economy to their advantage. And there is no shortage of angry voters in the Sunshine State, with 600,000 people out of work and nearly as many who've lost their homes to foreclosure in the past year. This is what makes Florida a battleground. Obama has the Southeast and its large number of African American, Jewish, and liberal white voters. McCain is the favorite among military and socially conservative voters in the Southwest and North. Both are fighting for the middle, the I-4 corridor, home to a diverse group of blacks, whites, Hispanics, retirees, and young workers, and nearly 40% of the state's independents.
In the 2000 and 2004 elections, the independent voters split right down the middle. This time out, both parties are going after them heavy duty.
Are you a Republican? I'm a Republican.
Both sides plan to spend the next crucial weeks trying to convert their neighbors.
Counting on your support.
In a region that could decide whether Florida stays red or turns blue. Kelly Kobiella, CBS News, Tampa.
Here in North Carolina, early voting is underway. Residents of Raleigh lined up to cast their ballots today and maybe avoid longer lines on Election Day. The latest pre-election polling shows Democrat Obama has pulled even in a state Republicans can usually count on. And as our senior political correspondent Jeff Greenfield reports, that's why Senator McCain is heading here again tonight.
It's great to be here in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Why were these folks here this week?
Even if you're not registered or never voted, it's really easy.
One big reason, these folks and 17,000 more like them.
I've probably registered between 25 and 40 of my fellow high school students.
The ground game of Barack Obama is one key reason why North Carolina's 15 electoral votes, once thought to be safely in John McCain's column, are up for grabs.
For the first time in the history of North Carolina, every precinct in the state will be worked by volunteers from that area.
As in every state, the Obama campaign has made organizing its mantra. If you send some money...
We're going to go ahead and ask you to also volunteer and talk to your neighbors and friends.
Hello, good afternoon. We have never seen anything like this. We have something like 400 staffers in the state compared to, say, McCain, which is about 30 staffers.
It's an effort that has helped Obama tap into an influx of hundreds of thousands of new North Carolina residents.
Now, a lot of these people are moving in are Republicans. But they're a different breed of Republicans. They're sort of Starbucks Republicans, and they're more moderate, and they're more open to voting for somebody like a Barack Obama.
Republicans like H.P. Pelzel and Ephraim Hurdle, both Obama volunteers, underline the importance of neighborhood organizing.
When we're out volunteering, you're doing it in your community. I go door to door with people I may see at the Food Lion, that I may see at the doctor's office, people I see every day.
Senator Richard Burr, who chairs McCain's state campaign, points to another huge Obama advantage, money.
I'm Barack Obama.
That's allowed Obama to spend more than $1.2 million on ads in 1 week alone, outspending McCain on TV here 8-1.
At the end of the day, though, this election is going to be decided on things that we've decided elections of the past, on taxes, on policies that really do hit the average American in various ways that affect them directly.
Even if John McCain wins North Carolina, Barack Obama's massive efforts here have already produced a victory of sorts by forcing the Republicans to divert time, energy, and money into a battle they never thought they were going to have to fight. Jeff Greenfield, CBS News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
There's another big battle going on in this state as well. Republican Elizabeth Dole is fighting to hold on to her Senate seat. We'll have her story a little later in the broadcast. One other Campaign 08 note, the Chicago Tribune did something today it had never done before. It had not endorsed a Democrat for president, not even Illinois Governor Adlai Stevenson in his 2 runs. But today, the Trib endorsed Illinois Senator Barack Obama. It said he's better suited than John McCain to restore a, quote, common sense of national purpose. Bob Schieffer is our chief Washington correspondent and anchor of Face the Nation. Bob, it's been quite a week for you. Meanwhile, with 2.5 weeks left until the election, how do you see things shaping up?
Well, I tell you, Katie, after seeing those reports and looking at where this race is right now, I think you can only come to one conclusion. It is going to be very hard for John McCain to win. The way most of the experts see it now, McCain has got to win all 18 states where he is the heavy favorite, plus all of the 8 states we now believe are toss-ups, including the ones we've been reporting on tonight. But that still won't get him to the 270 electoral votes he needs to win. To do that, he has also got to win 2 of the states that are now leaning to Obama, say Colorado and New Mexico. I think his people believe now his chance is to convince voters that Obama is a big spending liberal who's going to raise their taxes. I think you're going to hear that over and over. But with where this race seems to be right now, that is going to be a hard sell and a very steep hill to climb.
All right, Bob Schieffer. Bob, thank you so much. And by the way, Sunday on Face the Nation, Bob will have more about the battleground states when his guests will include Governors Tim Kaine of Virginia and Matt Blunt of Missouri. Turning to the economy now, new evidence we're in a slowdown and some advice from the Oracle of Omaha. Here's tonight's CBS News Financial Notebook. America's on track to build the fewest new houses and apartments this year since the end of World War II. The government said today new home construction fell more than 6% last month. Investors have been dumping stock, but billionaire Warren Buffett says now is the time to buy. He's doing it with his personal investments. In today's New York Times, Buffett writes, "A simple rule dictates my buying. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." It was another seesaw day on Wall Street with the Dow closing down 127 points. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, the last Titanic survivor hoping to be rescued yet again. But up next, the frantic search for a young Nevada boy who may have been kidnapped by a Mexican drug cartel. A top al-Qaeda commander has been killed by a missile strike in Pakistan. A senior U.S. official tells CBS News it happened yesterday inside Pakistan's tribal areas. Khaled Habib al-Masri was al-Qaeda's chief of operations in Pakistan and Afghanistan. He had replaced 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and was responsible for recruiting, training, and planning new attacks. Meanwhile, back here at home, there's a nationwide Amber Alert tonight for a young boy who was kidnapped right out of his home in Las Vegas. As Bill Whitaker reports, the police believe the abduction may be payback for the sins of his grandfather.
It was shocking enough to begin with. 6-year-old Cole Puffenberger kidnapped from his Las Vegas home by armed men early Thursday morning. When the invaders found no money, they tied up Cole's mother, her fiancé, and ran off with little Cole. Now the DEA tells CBS News his abduction looks like the work of one of Mexico's ruthless drug cartels.
They've kidnapped a 6-year-old boy, took him out of his home. These are extremely dangerous people. We've said it yesterday, we're saying it again. This is as bad as it gets.
Las Vegas police and federal agents have launched a nationwide search for Cole's grandfather, 51-year-old Clemens Tinnemeyer, suspected of significant involvement with Mexican drug traffickers, reportedly owing them huge sums of money.
There are millions of dollars involved in major drug trafficking that this individual is a part of.
In Mexico, the violent drug cartels are blamed for an epidemic of kidnappings, up to 500 a month, more than 3,700 murders so far this year. Now their violence is hitting home in dramatic fashion.
The borders are for people who are law-abiding. Narcotics dealers don't know about the borders, don't care about the borders, never have, never will.
They wanted to send a very clear message sent, message received. They got the intention of an entire nation.
Tonight, there's a nationwide Amber Alert. Neighbors are handing out flyers, but no sign of the little boy in grave danger. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
In other news, as lead singer for the Four Tops, Levi Stubbs was the impassioned voice behind hit after Motown hit.
Sugar pie, honey bunch, you know that I love you.
His iconic baritone powered tracks like I Can't Help Myself and Reach Out, I'll Be There, both hitting #1. During their long career, the Four Tops sold more than 45 million records. Levi Stubbs died today in his Detroit home. He was 72 years old. Coming up next from North Carolina, Elizabeth Dole in the biggest fight of her long political life. Welcome back to North Carolina, one of the battleground states in this presidential election. Another here in the South, Virginia. It hasn't gone Democratic in a presidential election since 1964, but Senator Obama now has a 10-point lead. Meanwhile, here in North Carolina, it's a virtual dead heat, but this state has been firmly in the GOP column for the past 7 presidential elections. Now, this trajectory has put a number of Republican Senate seats in danger, including one occupied by one of the most well-known names in American politics.
All my rowdy friends are going to help elect Elizabeth Dole to another term in the United States Senate.
In a race that's become surprisingly tight, Elizabeth Dole is hoping to get by with a little help from her friends. The first-term senator is an experienced Washington hand, a former Secretary of Transportation and Labor who once headed the Red Cross, wife of one-time presidential hopeful Bob Dole, one of the first female graduates of Harvard Law School, known for her grit and grace.
We want change today. How are you going to vote? Barack and Kay.
Barack Obama's made real headway here, and that's helped pave the way for the emergence of a little-known 5-term state senator named Kay Hagan, who now has a good shot of winning.
I think the key is Liddy Dole brought this on herself. She's been in office for 1 term, and she really hasn't done anything. I go across this state from Murphy to Manio, and people cannot tell me what she's done.
I would say certainly jobs, jobs, jobs. Helping our textile and furniture manufacturers, the fact that we were able to save our public hospitals $330 million 2 years in a row as the lead Republican handling those issues.
But Dole's biggest negative may be the R next to her name, which in this traditionally Republican state has almost become a scarlet letter. President Bush campaigned for you tirelessly in 2002 when you first ran, but he hasn't really shown up in North Carolina this go-round. Why is that?
Well, his father has been here, and Laura Bush has been in the state a couple of times.
And smelling blood, the Democratic Party put out this ad.
I've read she's 92. Did I just tell you she's 93?
One that has some Dole supporters seeing red.
What's happened to the Liddy Dole I knew? She's just not a go-getter like you and me.
She votes with Bush 92% of the time, and she is ranked the 93rd out of all of her 100 colleagues.
But do you think it was insinuating that she was too old? Because many Republicans were very angry about that.
You know, Katie, everybody knows Elizabeth Dole is not 92 or 93 years old.
She's 72, though.
Well, she's not 92.
Do you think that ad was a snarky attack on your age?
Mm-hmm. I think it was probably designed to do that.
Does that make you mad?
You know, like I say, I stay focused.
Early voting and 500,000 newly registered voters are giving Hagan confidence. And she says the economy is beginning to convince even conservative Democrats who long supported Republican Senator Jesse Helms.
And I've been talking to a lot of farmers that are fully on in my court. A lot of the other people in eastern North Carolina, because it's jobs. It's the fact that their wages have fallen.
But the Dole name and the Dole brand may neutralize the negative attacks. And this steel magnolia is not about to become a shrinking violet.
My mother lived to be 4 months short of 103 years old. I've got a lot of years to fill and a lot of vim and vigor and passion for what I do.
Our special coverage of the final battleground for the presidency will continue Monday in the Midwest, where 42 electoral votes are up for grabs in Ohio, Indiana, and Missouri. I'll be reporting from St. Louis. Then it's on to the West, where the candidates are fighting for 19 electoral votes in Nevada, New Mexico, and Colorado. In other news, Sarah Palin has suffered a defeat in her role as Alaska's governor. The federal government today classified the beluga whales in Cook Inlet near Anchorage as an endangered species. Governor Palin had fought that move, questioning the scientific evidence. The Interior Department has proposed making oil leases available in the Cook Inlet starting next year. If the beluga is protected, that could limit drilling there. Finally tonight, a survivor story. It began on a doomed ship in the North Atlantic, and it continues nearly a century later. From Southampton, England, here's Mark Phillips.
The ship was brand new, and so was Milvina Dean, just 2 months old, the youngest passenger on the Titanic.
And this is your mother and you?
Yeah.
But at 96 years old, Milvina, the last living Titanic survivor, needs the luck now she had then.
I was too small, so I was put in a sack.
In a sack?
Yeah, and put overboard into the lifeboat.
Mother and daughter were saved, so was her brother. Her father perished. But now Milvina needs another rescue. Like a lot of people, she's going broke.
I don't know how much you think I pay here a month. Have a guess.
I wouldn't know where. 500 pounds.
3,000.
About $5,000 for her keep at this nursing home. Melvina is having to auction off her Titanic souvenirs. The suitcase given to her family in New York. The letter offering compensation from the Titanic Victims Fund. A few prints. But another rescue may be at hand. As her story spread, people decided to help. A printer in McLean, Virginia.
I really felt that this was something that could really pay lasting tribute to all the people who died on the Titanic.
I'm not, what's the word, materialistic.
Right.
Not the slightest bit. I am now.
Melvina Dean, a survivor then, a survivor now. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Southampton, England.
And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight, with thanks to the Charlotte School of Law for this beautiful, if slightly foggy view of the Queen City. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday from St. Louis. Good night.